Hello, assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Danya Bushwereb. I'm a consultant family medicine at Emirates. And today I'm going to present something a bit different from the subjects and videos I shared before on my channel, which were all related to medicine, family medicine. Today it will be related to sociology. I find it very interesting when I learned about it, and it's called cultural capital. It's a theory which was developed by a French theorist. His name was Pierre Berdo. The definition of cultural capital, it's the cultural knowledge that serve us as currency, that help us navigate culture and alters our experiences and the opportunities available to us. So it can be in different forms. It can be in the form of material objects, stuff which we earn, which we have. For example, like clothes which we wear. That's the material side. Or like cars which we drive, or money which we have. It can also be in the form of knowledge. It can also be in the form of like other things like social status and different. Yeah, as I said, like different forms. So cultural capital, it's, as I said, like it can be in the form of material, it can be in different forms. So for example, like the taste which you have, like taste of wearing clothes, of driving cars, of like the jewels which you choose, the manners also, like the manners which we learned like in childhood, from whether it was from your parents or going to a specific school, the skills which you learned during life, qualifications, anything which you have, that all comes together and that all can be exchanged as currency. It all like sums up, like accumulates at the end, and it can be all like, as I said, like it can be exchanged for money. So cultural capital, it's not about money you have, but as I said, it can be exchanged for money. So the more, but also the more money you have, the more you can earn cultural capital. So there was a lot of studies done in America and in Europe, and they found that cultural capital can be a source of inequality. So for example, like if a student is doesn't have money, is poor, his parents don't have money, that means that student, maybe he will end up working and he cannot really focus on studying, and that can lead to poor performance and lower grades and lower test scores, and that means it will decrease the chances of that student going to a university and college. And when it decreases that chances, so that means maybe he will have like less qualifications or less chances in life, and that can lead to poverty. And the opposite happens. The opposite, for example, if a student has like has classes and has like his parents his parents like spend more money on that student, he didn't need to work during like the years when he was studied, he will have higher scores, and that will enable him to go to a higher to a better university, and then getting more prestige and more money in the future, and he will earn more cultural capital, which can be exchanged for money. So as I mentioned, there are different forms of cultural capital. So the first form, which is objectified state or economic capital, or the material state, that's what it's called. So it comes in the form of material stuff which we earn. As humans, it is very easy, first of all, just to recognize material stuff. So for example, like a person owning a Ferrari or Mercedes has a greater capital than a person earning maybe another car which like, for example, a Fox Ford or any other like car which is much cheaper. Or even like if somebody is having like they're having like an expensive iPhone, or they have like Apple products, again, like that will give them more prestige. Or eating like, or serving like expensive food. And that's why a lot of people, that's what they do in weddings and parties. They always like to like serve like expensive stuff, and the reason behind that will give them more social status, more capital, and more abundance. So what is economic capital objectified state? As we mentioned, it can be in the form of material stuff which you earn, which you have, which you wear, jewels which you have, food which you serve, and also money which you have. For example, money which you worked for, or for example, it could be like a land or a property which you earn, an expensive one, or even it can be through inheritance. Money is important because it can benefit an individual. So you can pay for resources. So if somebody has money, as I said, they can pay for a university, for college, for stuff, whether it was for the staff or for the kids, and or if they pay like for a private school, having like a comfortable big house, and that will increase the chances of life. And as I said, like vice versa. And then you have the other state, the other form of cultural capital, which is the knowledge, or it's called embodied state. And that refers to the knowledge which you have, the knowledge which you learned from your mom, or the knowledge which you learned during life, from experience in life, or even during school. So the knowledge which we have is not only through our parents or through school or through university, it's even from life which we have. And all of that will give you like more, as I said, more cultural capital, which can be exchanged to currency in the future. So for example, like having a good language, or even not necessarily, as I said, from school, even if they didn't have the chance to go to a good school or good university, but they like to educate themselves, they like to learn, they like to work on themselves, or even having like, for example, like a good taste in music and art, all of that can give somebody more credits. And then you have the other form, the third form. As we mentioned, we have the first, which is the material form, and then we have the knowledge, and then we have the other form, which is the institutionalized state, which is credential and qualification. And that's the way like society measures the third form, which is like the social capital. For example, having like an education degree or a title, like somebody who has a PhD has more capital than somebody with a master's degree, and somebody with a master's degree, they have more capital, somebody who is undergraduate. And all of that can be exchanged with money. Like somebody with PhD will have like a higher salary than somebody with an undergraduate degree. So the social state, which you mentioned, which is this the institutionalized state, that can be different from society to another society. So for example, like somebody, if a woman lives in Italy and she's wearing this, like a nonna sorella, she will have like higher social maybe status, maybe she will get more respect because of the way she wears. So not necessarily somebody is wearing like expensive stuff, but sometimes the society itself, like another example, if somebody lives in an Arab country, a woman wearing like this, that will give her some credit because they will say, well, she's wearing something which is related to religion, and that means she's pious, she's a good woman, and she will get more respect, and that will get more capital or more cultural capital, but it will be through the sociology state, not through the material or not through the knowledge, if that makes sense. But for example, if the same person, if she goes to Europe, maybe she will not get the same credits which this woman who is wearing, for example, a niqab or abaya, which she will get in an Arab country, and the opposite, like for these women. So it's different, and there was a lot of studies done, like for example, like even like about people like wearing like simple stuff in Iran and Tehran. They got more credit because they were wearing like simple stuff, and that was a sign of pious and sincere. A person, he's pious and he's sincere, he wears simple stuff, so they got credit, and that was based on that country, and they got more capital for that. And we also, what happened in the Libyan revolution, I'm originally from Libya, and there were a lot of people like during the Libyan revolution, they would like to dress as rebels because that will give them like more social status, that they're rebels and they're respected, and I'm sure even they got like jobs, and maybe even that at the end that was exchanged for currency, for money. And before that, at the time of Gaddafi, people like, well, maybe they would like to dress like him to get more capital. So even every country, apart from, it's not every country, it depends on each country and on each status in that country, on that era and that time. So it's not only like related to money, it's not only related to knowledge, it's also related to different stuff. So there was another sociologist, his name is Max Weber, and he mentioned that a person's chances in life would improve if they have, for example, people in the family who have who gone through university, and they have more money. As I said, like the more capital, the more money they have, the more credits they have, the more it will increase life chances, whether it was for them or for their children and family. Life chances, as we mentioned, for example, a family who the same child who the parents was reading a book to them every day, was they spend some money on them for private lessons, going for example to music lessons or going to other stuff. This child, he has higher chances than another child who didn't, who had to work during when he was when he was a student. And an example, for example, in the UK, having a posh accent. So there was loads of studies which shows that people with posh accent, they have high social prestige, and sometimes the posh accent will give them a higher respect and give them power and money and influence. And for example, we all saw Titanic, Rose with her posh accent, and her mom told her this is the only thing which they had at that time, because the father of Rose, he was a rich man and he lost all of his money, but she had the only thing which they had left was the high social status, and her mom was trying to use that as a card for her to get married to a very rich man. Anyway, all what I mentioned about all forms of cultural capital, whether it was in the material form or in the knowledge form or in social status and social form, all of that is all measurements in the dunya, in the life, the first life which we're living. All of this, it will not exist in the second life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he said, in Arabic, I will translate it in English, يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون, the day when neither wealth nor children will be of any benefit. إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم, only those who come before Allah with a pure heart will be saved. And that has been mentioned by Allah in Surah Al-Shu'ara in the Quran. وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين, on the day paradise will be brought near to the God-fearing. For the people, of course, who fear Allah and fear God. And may I pray, may Allah make you and me and everyone who is listening to this video among the people who inherit paradise in the highest level of paradise, in Jannat al-Na'im and Jannat al-Fardos, by the will of Allah, بإذن Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any comments, please just write it in the comment section. مع السلامة. You had Dr. Danya Bushwereb with you.